the young to the ooh, 동 to the good to the rummy.
Young-woo and Myung-sok work on a new case. A husband and wife seek legal advice. Mr. Shin said that previously he and two of his friends, Mr. Eun and Mr. Park, had collected money to buy lottery tickets. Then they agreed, if one of them wins, they will share the prize equally. It turns out that Mr. Park won the grand prize in the lottery. But Mr. Park wants all the prize money, and reneges on their deal. Mr. Shin asked for the help of a lawyer to get back the money. However, there was no written agreement on their agreement to share the money equally. Young-woo went to look for witnesses who knew about this three friends deal. At trial, this witness revealed the truth, until they finally won the case. Mr. Shin's wife was happy about the victory. But who would have thought that after the case was won, Mr. Shin visited Young-woo in her office, and said that he was planning to divorce his wife. This made Young-woo feel worried and wanted to convey this to Mr. Shin's wife that her husband wanted to divorce her. But Myung-sok forbade it because it violated the rules, and was considered leaking client secrets. Then Young-woo and Junho came to Mrs. Shin's gimbap shop. They saw this husband and wife quarrel. After Mr. Shin damaged things, he left his wife. According to Mrs. Shin, her husband changed after receiving the lottery prize money. Then Young-woo and Junho sat down at the dining table. Young-woo deliberately told Junho figuratively that one of her clients wanted to divorce his wife after winning a court hearing. Apparently Mrs. Shin understood that what Young-woo meant was her husband. How sad and disappointed Mrs. Shin. The next day, Mrs. Shin came to see Young-woo and Myung-sok. She said her husband had filed for divorce, and he had another woman. Even though all this time it was Mrs. Shin who worked hard for her family, while her husband was unemployed. Then Myung-sok suggested Mrs. Shin to another lawyer. Young-woo and Junho took Mrs. Shin home. Near the house, they met Mr. Shin coming out of a luxury car. When Mr. Shin realized his wife was with the Han-bada lawyer, he chased them in his car. However, a passing truck hits his car, resulting in the death of Mr. Shin. Young-woo, who saw the accident, became frightened. Junho hugged her tightly to calm her down. Finally, Mrs. Shin can inherit her late husband's lottery money and insurance. Meanwhile in Taizan, Min-woo comes to see CEO Soo-mi, and tells her that he wants to work at Taizan law firm. Min-woo also talked about CEO Soo-mi and Young-woo's relationship. CEO Soo-mi said, if Min-woo wanted to work at Taizan, he had to get Young-woo out of Han-bada, either by being fired or resigning. CEO Han tells Myung-sok that the criminal he managed to put in prison several years ago has been released. The criminal once said that he wanted revenge. The police are trying to catch him. After getting the news, Myung-sok became anxious and scared. Young-woo's father asked about Junho. Young-woo's father saw his daughter kissing a man. Young-woo denied that she was in a relationship with a man. Young-woo said that she was exploring whether she was matching with Junho. That answer made Young-woo's father angry. He wanted Young-woo to introduce him to Junho as soon as possible. The next day, Junho took Young-woo home. Young-woo told Junho that her father saw the two of them kissing and wanted to meet him. However, Young-woo did not want to bring Junho together with her father, because Young-woo considered that at this time they were still not dating. Hearing that, Junho felt disappointed, because Junho thought he was already dating Young-woo. Myung-sok's anxiety level increases. He suspects someone is following him. He prepares to attack the man following him, but it turns out that the man is a technician at Han-bada. Then Myung-sok got a message from CEO Han that the criminal had been caught by the police. Myung-sok is relieved, but then he coughs up blood, and he is diagnosed with cancer. Han-bada's lawyer gets a new case. They are going to Jeju Island together. This is an opportunity for Myung-sok to be able to work and take vacations, because since he worked at Han-bada, he has never taken a vacation off. The other lawyers don't know that Myung-sok is sick with cancer. They were surprised and happy when at the airport they saw Myung-sok arriving in holiday clothes. This case concerns illegal entry fees to cultural heritage areas and temples on Jeju Island. Even when they are not going to go to the tourist spots, they are still forced to pay 3,000 won if they go that way. Even though the value was small, the plaintiffs wanted to file a lawsuit for the unlawful acts of the temple owner. The reason the monks are in the temple is that visitors can enjoy the beautiful night scenery. While out on a walk with Soo-yeon, Min-woo receives a call from his parents. From the conversation, Min-woo sounded nervous, but Min-woo tried to hide his anxiety. Soo-yeon, who was with him, asked if Min-woo had a problem. Min-woo then shared that he was the only breadwinner in his family, so he had to work hard. Unlike Soo-yeon, who is a rich man's daughter. At dinner, Myung-sok tells about his past memories with his wife on Jeju Island. It turns out that Myung-sok was once married, but because of his time-consuming job, his wife decided to divorce. At night, Myung-sok felt his stomach hurt. Even in the courtroom, Myung-sok faints. On Jeju Island, Junho asked Young-woo to meet his older sister. They were invited to lunch. Junho's older sister was not happy, and was against Junho and Young-woo's relationship. Junho's older sister said that Junho should break up with Young-woo. It turned out that the conversation was overheard by Young-woo. Lawyer Myung-sok is hospitalized. To make him happy, Young-woo and her friends try to find a chef who makes Myung-sok's favorite noodles. The noodle shop has been closed for a long time. The employees steal their recipe, and then work at their rival noodle depot. Young-woo remembered Junho's older sister's words. She was worried that she couldn't make Junho happy, and Junho had to take care of her for the rest of her life. When Young-woo was alone with Junho, Young-woo decided to end her relationship with Junho, and left him. Junho was sad. He didn't know why Young-woo ended their relationship. While on Jeju Island, Min-woo and Soo-yeon's relationship is getting closer than before. In the end, the Hanbada team of lawyers won the case. A team of Hanbada lawyers assists the shrine owners to obtain funds for the preservation of cultural heritage and shrines through government funds. They visited the temple and had lunch there. When they tasted the noodles served, they were surprised because the noodles tasted delicious. Young-woo guessed that the chef who cooked these noodles was the chef they were looking for. Young-woo rushed into the kitchen and asked the chef to cook Myung-sok's favorite noodles. Then they returned to Seoul. CEO Han sees the news on television that CEO Sumi is running for the election for the Minister of Law. Daesun is Hanbada's rival from the past. CEO Han is planning something to defeat CEO Sumi. She met a reporter who had taken a photo of CEO Sumi when she met Young-woo's father. The reporter expressed his suspicions that CEO Sumi really had a child out of wedlock. CEO Han said that she already knew about it. Then CEO Han asked him to publish an article about it, just before the trial for the Minister of Law selection conference started. Coming back from Jeju, Myung-sok was operated on. His position as the team leader of lawyers was replaced by his colleague Seung-jin. Their characters were different, so Young-woo had a hard time working with Seung-jin. Their case is defending a company whose user data was hacked. Their initial guess was that the hacker was from North Korea. The South Korean Communications Commission accused them of leaking confidential files of users' personal data, for which they had to pay a fine of 300 billion won. Since the company had been hacked, CEO Raon argued that he shouldn't pay such a burdensome fine. This was exacerbated by a lawsuit from a customer who filed for compensation of 100,000 won per person due to a data leak. They are represented by the law firm Daesun. Out of frustration, CEO Raon even attempted suicide by taking a poison pill in front of the judge. Everyone was shocked and panicked. Young-woo was scared. Junho, who saw it, wanted to approach her, but was powerless. That night, Junho waited for Young-woo in front of her house. He asked why Young-woo broke up with him. Young-woo replied that she doubted whether Junho could be happy with her. Junho realized that Young-woo heard when his older sister spoke to him in Jeju. Sang-hyun confesses to his mother that he has hacked Raon's company data. But the data is still there with him. Sang-hyun was about to go to the police station and turn himself in. His mother, CEO Sumi, asks him to shut up and stay home because this time is not right. She doesn't want her image to be damaged and prevent her from reaching the position of Minister of Law. Sang-hyun, who already knew that Young-woo was his half-daughter, came to ask Young-woo for help. Sang-hyun hacks into Raon's company data at the request of a co-worker of Raon's CEO named Chen Hong. Sang-hyun provides video evidence of his self-confession to Young-woo. Sang-hyun's video confession is played in court. But apparently his testimony could not be recognized in court. Therefore the lawyer asked the judge to allow Sang-hyun to testify again at the trial. The problem is, CEO Sumi will not allow Sang-hyun to testify in court. Young-woo receives a message from Song-hyun that his mother will send him to America. Young-woo goes to see CEO Sumi. She said that Sang-hyun had good intentions to admit his guilt, and wanted to be a witness at trial to defend the truth. Young-woo said that in Sang-hyun's eyes, his mother was a role model in defending the truth, but it turns out that now his mother is preventing him from standing up for the truth. Don't let Sang-hyun be disappointed in his mother, like Young-woo who was disappointed in her mother. CEO Sumi's heart melts, and she allows Sang-hyun to testify and be held accountable for his actions in court. CEO Sumi attends the trial. In the end, the case was won by Hanbada, because the data file was found at Chung Hwang's house and encrypted by Sang-hyun, so it was safe and not spread. After the trial, CEO Sumi said she was withdrawing from the nomination for Minister of Justice, and would focus on being a good mother to her son. They celebrate the victory with Myung-sok and his wife.
이쪽으로 앉으세요.
Junho and Young-woo's relationship ended happily. The end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell, so you don't miss the next video.